Hello everyone. Next week it's Valentine's Day, so today I thought I would give you some phrasal verbs to do with relationships, and then next week we can talk about how Valentine's Day is usually celebrated in the UK. So I can tell you about all those Valentine's cards that I didn't get when I was younger. Never mind. Okay, yes. So, 7 phrasal verbs to do with relationships. And they kind of tell a story. Maybe not a very good story, but they kind of tell a story which might help you remember them as well. Okay, so number 1, ask out. So, for example, Bob asked Jane out on a date. So he asked her to do something with her on a date, like, will you go to the cinema with me? Or will you go to a restaurant with me? So it's like a kind of invitation, usually for a first date. So you ask someone out on a date for the first time. So use that phrasal verb with doing something like that for the first time. Okay, so ask out. And the next one, number 2, get together. You can probably guess this one. So Bob and Jane got together 3 years ago. So when you get together, that's the moment when you start a relationship with someone. You get together, you start it. So you got together 3 years ago, it started 3 years ago. So, that's that one. Number 3, I'm sure you've heard of this one. Number 3, cheat on. So, for example, I saw Bob cheating on his girlfriend. He was kissing someone else. So, hopefully no one's had that experience, but, that means Bob is not being faithful to Jane. He's either dating somebody else secretly, or he's kissing somebody he's not supposed to. Okay, so he's not being faithful, he's not being loyal to his girlfriend or his partner. So he's cheating on her. So the next one, number 4, is fall out. For example, Bob fell out with Jane after she saw him kissing someone else. So you can probably guess the meaning. So if you fall out with someone, you're having an argument with them and you're getting very angry. Maybe both of you, the idea of falling out is that both of you are getting angry with each other. Both of you are arguing with each other and the relationship is in trouble. Okay, so it's quite negative. 2 negative ones. So, so obviously your relationship is not in a very good place if you've fallen out with the other person. So let's think of something a bit more positive now. So number 5, makeup. And I'm not talking about lipstick and eyeshadow. Those are nouns anyway, but the phrasal verbs to make up with someone. So for example, Bob, back to Bob again. Bob apologised to Jane and they made up. So they forgave each other. They agreed to move on. They forgave each other, basically. So that's a more positive phrasal verb. And then number 6, stay together. So we had got together before, now number 7, stay together. For example, Bob and Jane have stayed together for 2 years. So they got together 2 years ago. I said 3 years before, never mind. They got together 2 years ago and they're still together now. So they have stayed together for 2 years. Okay, that sounds more romantic now, doesn't it? And then, finally, number 7, settle down. So, eventually, Bob and Jane decided to settle down and get married. So an idea, if you're settling down with someone, probably getting married follows. So if you're settling down, your relationship is becoming more serious, you'll probably be seeing each other more long term. And it doesn't mean that if you settle down, it doesn't mean you will get married, and maybe you'll just stay together in a relationship. But quite often the two are related or connected. So if you settle down, then you get married. And then maybe have children, I don't know. Anyway, that was those were the 7 phrasal verbs that we're looking at today. The story itself, probably not great, but I think it was a great way of maybe just showing how those phrasal verbs work. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much for watching. Next week we'll talk a little bit more about how Valentine's Day is celebrated in the UK. Until then, bye for now.